If somebody owes you money or you have a judgment against a person, more than likely they're not leaving assets laying around easy to get. They're not leaving a real estate or parcel in their name that you can just grab. They may not have a bank account with tons of money in it sitting around. So what are 7 places that you can search for hidden assets that might lead you to where you can get restitution? The first one is using loyalty programs. For example, if somebody has a casino account, player's account, that card is going to show their activity of what they're gambling and what their winnings are and how they get their winnings. So a lot of times if you use a loyalty card, people, even fraudsters, they're cheap. They want to get all the points that they can on their loyalty card to get a free dinner, a free room, free upgrade. So they're going to use their loyalty card when they're playing their casino account. So if you can get the records from that loyalty card and show that they won $8,200 on this day, who was the check made out to? Where did it go? Where did the cash go? That's number one. Another good place to look for hidden assets is to look at bank accounts for very small entries. Find entries that paid for some other item. For example, maybe they paid $10 to get a watch repaired. Maybe they paid $80 to have their vessel worked on. So don't necessarily look for big amounts of money within bank accounts. Look for small transactions that lead to larger accounts. Third place to look is for assets that were transferred to another name. So look at prior records of that person. Just because a person doesn't have a deed in their name for a house, look at prior deeds to properties that go back 2, 3, or 4 years. Many times when somebody is anticipating a judgment against them, they're going to find that they're going to hide assets. Maybe they had a house that they put in their cousin's name. Look for all the transfers out of their name for real estate that went into another person's name and show that it was actually paid for and not just given away. Another good place to look is vehicles. Many times if a person has a vehicle that they're driving every single day, you can get the license plate or the VIN number and find out who the owner is. If it's not in their name, who is the owner? That might be a good place to find where they're stashing assets into their name. Number 4 is their employment. Many times a debtor will have their employer give them income in another form. Maybe it's commission checks that go to a company. Maybe it's an LLC that they're diverting money to. Have their employer disclose how all the payments are made, and even the vendors. Maybe it's a salesperson that gets commissions or that's a subcontractor. How are they getting their payments, and are those payments artificially reduced during the time of the debt in order to have them appear later? It's a very, very good way to find money. A third way to look is direct observation. If you watch the person for some period of time, maybe not 24/7, but look at their daily habits. What restaurants are they going to? What ATMs are they going to? You can get records from those places. Many times people leave the receipt in the ATM or they throw it in the trash. That'll show an account number. Many times they're paying for meals or other things at a restaurant with a debit card that's tied to another account, and you can many times get that receipt if they leave it on the table. If they throw it away, you can go back afterwards and ask, hey, my boss left this receipt there, can I get it back? Those types of daily activities can demonstrate other types of purchases that are being exchanged for assets. And the last one is something that people overlook quite a bit, is looking at third-party vendors who are doing business with that person as a client. Who are they buying, let's say, clothing from? Maybe they're buying inventory for their business. A lot of times money has to come back into their life to be used as an asset through a business enterprise or through other types of purchases. And if you can find where they're getting inventory from a vendor, maybe they're buying personal items or travel from a vendor, if you can subpoena those records and find out how it's being paid for, you can maybe find the source of other money and locate the flow of funds into that account to see if it was improperly transferred at some prior date. So there's many ways to look for assets. Looking for that big pot of gold in one place, it many times isn't going to find a large amount, but by backtracking to find where their source of everyday living is coming from, you can find the larger piles of money that maybe appear to be out of reach, but at some point you can get them using proper legal procedures.